Any crazy, incidences over the years where you're like, oh, thank the Lord you worked through that or got out of it, or?
Oh yeah. There's so many.
Okay.
I can think of one right off the top of my head. I was by myself. So troopers, I got to explain the dynamics of this first. So if you're a trooper and you work the road, we typically are kind of alone.
Okay.
So we don't have, unless you work in a city where they have dedicated county units or city units that can be your backup. A lot of times, the staff at the different districts for troopers we're extremely understaffed. So a lot of times you're alone. Okay. So when you respond to a call, it's you. So it's like figure it out. Okay. I got called to a man holding a woman hostage on the side of the road in a car. So they're like, we don't have anybody. Go get it, Tiger. So I was like, well, here we go. So I show up and the woman that was being held hostage had escaped, luckily, before I got there. But the man was still in his car with the gun. So I'm talking to her, and he just decides to like pop out, and I'm out. I don't know what's going on, so I'm thinking I got to shoot this guy. And being there by myself, I was like, I'm trying to go through everything, but we're on a highway, so there's whenever I approach a car on a traffic stop, I'm always looking around. Okay, where am I going to run if something happens? Where's cover? Where's just concealment? How many people are in here? What are they doing? There's so many things that run through your head. But he just got out of that vehicle so fast, it was just a dynamic situation. And luckily, he turned and faced me, and I could see that his hands were empty at the moment. So I didn't shoot him, but the slack was out. It was a hairy situation, and then he saw that, and I could tell by looking at him. JP, you probably know this from being in combat. When you look at people and you can kind of tell when they're working through what they're gonna do.
Yep.
And I could tell by looking at his face and his eyes the moment that he decided that he wasn't gonna dive back in for that gun. So luckily he didn't do that, and I was able to get him to come to me and then proned him out and got him in handcuffs. But I was completely by myself, so it was gonna be a storm. So,
which is crazy for our listeners that don't understand how weapons work. When Aaron's talking about the slack out, we call that like as you're pulling the trigger, you're getting the slack out of the trigger, and then you start, as you're pulling, there's tension, right?
Yeah.
And there's a few pounds depending on the gun and the trigger and the setup and everything.